In this video, I'm going to discuss some of the best ways to get a good latch during breastfeeding. Establishing and maintaining a good latch during a breastfeed is essential to upkeep your milk supply and ensure that you've got good milk transfer to the baby and the baby becomes well fed. So the first position we're going to go through is cross-cradle. This is the kind of go-to position because you are upright and it's the easiest to do when you're out and about. The reason we do cross-cradle and not just cradle is because if you're trying to support your baby's head with your elbow, you don't have enough dexterity and you can't get that good latch. So imagine that you're going to start on your left side first. You've got this left hand, same hand as your breast, or right hand, same hand as your breast, and you're holding your breast underneath as if you're going to start hand expressing. It's the same position. You've got support underneath and on the top there. So when it comes to supporting the baby in this position, you're going to use your thumb and your middle finger because that's your widest spread. You're going to place your finger somewhere around where the baby's ear is, or on that jaw angle here, something bony that's not going to hurt the baby. There's nothing soft that you can damage. So the ear or the skull here, and your thumb is going to go in a similar place but on the top. So again, near the ear, round something bony. And then you're going to have your hand on the baby's back here, not on the back of the baby's head. They can move away if they can't breathe. And then a finger and thumb go round like that. Now, a lot of people feel like they can't get all the way around the back of the baby's head. A real baby's head is always much bigger than this doll. So they feel like this space is not wide enough to get around the baby's head. But actually, if you try and do it on yourself, you can see if you're at the bottom, then you can get right round any size head. I've got quite a big head, especially compared to a baby. So the reason that we're holding the baby in these places is so that you can literally take the weight of the baby's head. You need to be able to lift the baby's head up so you can sort of manipulate it, but only going along the normal ways that the spine would move, so you're not going to hurt the baby. So it's important that the baby is turned into you so that they're completely on their side. Sometimes, depending on how long your baby is, it's easier for you if you put your arm in between their legs so that their long position here is supported by their leg on the top and they're not sliding down like this. Okay, so when you're ready to latch your baby, you're going to put your baby really close so that their nose is to the nipple, not mouth to nipple, because they tilt their head back to latch. They're going to end up with on their chin instead of in their mouth. Whereas if you start on their nose, they're going to open their mouth back and it's going to go in their mouth like that. So a small tip to help you with this bending the nipple back onto their nose is if you press slightly more at the top here. So if the baby's looking up that way, you press right down into your nipple here, and that flexes the nipple upwards, so it's got a sort of ping effect. When the baby does open their mouth and you release it, it flicks back into the baby's mouth. So when you're in position and ready to latch, you are comfortable. You are holding your breast, you're pressing your nipple back so it's flicking upwards, and you've got your baby well supported here across your body in line and it turned into you. You're going to wait for that baby to open their mouth really wide. Sometimes babies open their mouth a tiny bit, and it's really important that you don't try and put your nipple in their mouth at this point because they're just going to get this little bit, just a little first bit of the areola, and they're not going to get a good amount of breast tissue in their mouth, so they're going to cause damage. They're just going to suck and graze this piece, and that can cause pain. Even when you get your latch right on later feeds, it can cause bleeding and blisters and things like that, and it makes it uncomfortable for any kind of feed in the future. So when it comes to the actual latch, you have to act very quickly because the baby opens their mouth briefly and then they're ready to clamp down and start sucking in the right place. So you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit for this next bit, but imagine that this is the baby's mouth. Okay. So you're in position, you've got your breast here, you're holding it in place, you've flexed your nipple upwards, and you've got your baby nose to nipple here. Then you're going to use your nipple to open the baby's mouth even wider by pressing down on that bottom lip. And then the baby's going to go up and over, sort of like you're dunking a basketball. You're going to use your hand on the back of the baby's head to go up and round so they get right up here, loads of breast tissue in their mouth, and they get a really deep latch. Then don't be scared to keep your baby really nicely firm into your body, because sometimes they sort of wriggle around. They don't at first know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, so they can move around like they're still rooting. So if your baby is still moving around quite a lot, then you can kind of support their head to keep them straight forward into the breast, and then that is quite a firm hold. As long as you can hear or see that they're breathing, even if it's a bit snuffly, then you can be sure that they're in the right position and that you're not pressing too hard, whilst still making sure that they don't delatch themselves. Once you're sure that you can hear that snuffly breathing, they've always got sort of narrow and mucousy airways, especially at the start, so it's never very clear sounding, but you should be able to hear something. When you're confident that you can hear that, you should not touch your breast at all. A lot of people press down because they want to release this bit of breast underneath the baby's nose, but that can cause blocked ducts and also stop the milk coming through. It's sort of like if you stand on a hose pipe. When the baby's at the breast, their nose creates a little cave in your breast tissue because your breast tissue is soft, so that then the air can get down the sides and they can breathe that way. Whatever position you're using, make sure that you bring the baby towards you and you're not going to the baby. A lot of people want to sort of arch their back and curl towards the baby, like they're aiming their breast towards the baby. But the baby's nice and light, so it's easy for you to bring the baby to you. Make sure you're leaning against something, let your shoulders drop down, keep reminding yourself to drop your shoulders during the feed, and just let everything go soft and relaxed. Sometimes you can get a really good latch to start with, but then the baby can slip back during the feed. If at any point, whether it's the start, the middle, or near the end, it starts to be uncomfortable, you can hear the baby making sucking sounds or anything is unusual compared to before, then put your little finger inside the baby's mouth, pull to the side, and then take the baby off. Otherwise, they will not be able to break the suction and they will just take your nipple with them. If you really focus on that good head holding position, the up and over basketball dunk, and then the firm holding them into you position, you're more likely to start with and end with a good latch. I hope this video has been helpful. If you need any more tips, just let me know in the comments, and lots of luck.